My wife has been encouraging me for a while now for me to go and talk to somebody. Just there's years and years and years of, I mean, there were a lot of rough years there. But I'm like, I can't do that. You know, I mean, I know the guy gets paid.
Welcome to Pegasus vs. the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, so I've just got hip to what I believe his name is Creek Dewayne, literally like 2 days ago. I've been watching these just random videos that just have really good titles, and a lot of times it's just people in nature talking about their life experiences. It's actually inspired me to maybe start another channel, which is crazy. I was thinking about Side Quest Pegasus and just like talking about, because like at the age of 44, I've experienced a lot of unique things, and I think it could be helpful, going back, re-examining things, talk about the course corrections and the mistakes. But anyways, all this has led me to Dry Creek Dewayne. I think I watched about 2 of his videos. I'm like, who is this guy? How is he so big on YouTube? And I'm just watching. It just seems like he gives good advice or advice in general on YouTube. And it seems like he's somewhat of a mentor for men and in a leadership role in that aspect. And I don't know enough about him, haven't seen enough of his stuff, but this clip, so this is on, let's plug. This is Chris Williamson. He just hit 3 million subscribers. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I've been seeing just really good interviews over there. And this is something we want to do on our 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast, is cover, stories, but also start really interviewing cool people. But anyways, this is on his channel, and I thought I would check it out. I don't know where this is going to go, but I liked everything I've heard from it's Dry Creek Wrangler School, but he is Dry Creek Dewayne, I believe. And let's just get into it, see what he's talking about, see what type of conversation it forms, because the question here was, how emotional should men be?
Think about
you guys, support this channel, support Dewayne. If you want to support me, I'm going to link stuff in the description. I have a music reaction channel, I have a podcast channel. Support the humble hustle. Let's go.
balance when it comes for men between strength and softness, rationality, emotionality, rigidity, vulnerability. I think that's a balance that a lot of men struggle with. I still think that the conversation around emotions, around being open, whether it's with your friends or a partner or even yourself. You literally denied yourself going to the doctor for a heart attack. Like, the male ability to deny that things are wrong, whether they're physical or emotional, is like a reality distorting power that we all have.
Right.
How do you come to think about that balance between the hardness and the softness in men?
I'm still old school. I'm still very old school. Now there comes a point where it can be debilitating to those around me. Okay. If I bottle everything up inside so that I get to the point that I am toxic or debilitating to those around me, then I need to get some help. But as long as I'm not, I don't need to add more burden for them to carry. That's just me.
Can you be a bit more specific about what that is, how that shows up for you?
My wife has been encouraging me for a while now for me to go and talk to somebody. Just there's years and years and years of, there were a lot of rough years there. But I'm like, I can't do that. I know the guy gets paid to sit there, and, but it's just not necessary. I'm still old enough, and I'm of the school. It's like, just Just deal with it.
Suck it up.
Suck it up. You know, I broke 3 ribs one time in a barn, saddling horses, horse threw a fit, took 8 aspirin and got on that horse and did a 4-hour ride because I had a job to do. It's my job. Now, I know, let's go back to balance. Okay.
I was about to mention that.
I understand. I'm with you 100%. But at the same time, your balance and my balance and his balance are different. And so I think a man has to find his own balance. And you're going to get so many messages on here disagree with this. But I think that this thought of men's mental health, emotional health, go get help, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's out of place. But I think, like everything else, I think it could be taken to the point that men just become weak.
This is deep. This is one to digest. What he's getting into right now, he has a point. He does have a point. Now, everything in balance, what does they say? Everything in moderation, even moderation. But there is a balance that I think as a man, you just have to deal with this shit. You know what I mean? You just have to. And if you can't, then you start to develop weaknesses, right? And like, to be the rock for your family, you got to develop these things. I got to hear him out. I'm going to hear him out on this. But the reason I wanted to say something, he said something that really resonated with me. And I know in this new age, it's just like everyone's kind of getting babied, like, oh, mental health, da-da-da-da. And I think it's an important thing. And I think people need to examine that. But also, I think a lot of this is foundational, right? Like, a lot of these turmoils stem from not being in like the best situation family-wise. I think, having 2 parents in the household is very helpful. Having a structured family is very helpful. And having a strong male leader is helpful to get to this level he's at. In our society, we don't have that. At least we don't have it like we used to. So now that's where the balance comes in, where I understand where people need someone to talk to, a therapist, da-da-da-da. But is that therapy making you stronger or weaker? Or is it just neutral? It's just helping you release some of this extra baggage that you have and learn how to cope with things, But anyways, I related to this because my wife, we had 2 stillborn births. And it knocked our relationship off course, our marriage off course. This is before we had my wonderful daughter, Alinea, and Brightly now. But we had 2 stillborn births. It was pretty traumatic. It was in I don't know what the trimesters are, but at 6.5 months for the baby boy and right around 6 months for the baby girl. I struggle to this day because of where we're at in our age and the timing. We probably won't have any more kids, and I really did want a son. So losing my firstborn, Huey, my boy, really eats at me because I would have loved to have a son in my life to like mentor and talk about like my experiences and my mistakes and try to see if, I saw the holes in my dad being a dad, right? Like, he wasn't the perfect dad. There's no such thing, but I saw the holes. And even in my wife's father, how he treated their son. And I see that, and I wanted to correct those and then raise a boy of my own. So I still have this emotional baggage and trauma that's tied to the loss of my firstborn son as a stillborn. But I didn't need therapy. I don't need therapy. But my wife wanted us to do group therapy because she was lost. And I felt like the right thing to do was do the group therapy because she needed it. In hindsight, I thought it was cool. It was cool talking to someone and da-da-da-da. I had a female therapist, right? So I didn't feel like I could tell her everything. I was guarded. I was just like, you don't really know how guys really think or act. Nope, I can't tell you everything. So I never really, I told her probably about 90%. I'm a very open, communicative person. But I remember after the therapy was done, I was just like, I didn't need this. Like, I'm just an open book. I'll talk to you guys. This is why people like my channel and stuff like that, because I'm just very open about everything. And yeah, I might need my time to cry on my own or deal with the emotions on the own. You know, I've been, you know, tormented by certain things I've done in my past, and, you know, you just got to deal with them. But I just felt like I didn't need therapy. And what he said, he hit it on the nose. I told my wife too, after the therapy, I felt like, I did that for her and our relationship. And it did help because it helped us sit down and communicate. But really what was happening is her therapy was opening her up to communicate to me, because I'm just open book. I'm super communicative, you know. I'm not perfect either. I have my downfalls and, you know, my shortcomings, but I acknowledge those pretty quickly, apologize, and then move forward. That's just my style. So there's something about him saying that resonated with me heavily. Again, I'm 44 years old, and I come from that Death Wish era, the Chuck Norris era. You know what I'm saying? So there is a part of me that wants to just be more gruff and deal with things like that. And in this new age, everyone is just so soft, and sometimes I don't fit in. I don't understand how to communicate with people because I'm just like, hey, man, you got to deal with this, you know, like, you know, so I don't know, but I'm really enjoying this conversation. Let's keep it moving.
And brother, let me tell you, in this day and age, we don't need more weak men.
Facts.
Now when your internal battles come to the point that you need help because they have weakened you, then get help.
Facts. So I agree with this wholeheartedly so far. Like, I'm just like,
You know, but I think everybody's balance is different. And I fear there was a problem for years on this side, but I fear, just like everything else, with that subject being pushed the way it is, we're going to get out of balance on the other side. And it's like, and everybody needs therapy for everything.
This is the nuance, I think, around what we were talking about, type A problems, type B problems.
Right.
Because it's easy to just take that as one single meal on a plate as opposed to multiple different pieces,
Right.
or a onesie
Right.
that you put on
Right.
as opposed to an outfit that's piecemeal and put
Right.
together. So there's a British writer called Matthew Syed who's coming on the show soon. And the interesting thing about tennis as a sports reporter is that you had 3 phenomenal world champions all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You had Nadal, you had Djokovic, and you had Federer. And he used to go to Wimbledon and he would see how they were warming up, and each had a different approach. So he'd go and see Nadal, and he's just raw aggression, his top's off, and he's hitting the ball as hard as he could, and he's sort of just fury. And then he'd go and see Djokovic, and he's like a robot. And this guy's precise, precision, rationality. Then he'd go and see Federer, and he's playing trick shots. He's laughing, and he's having fun, and he's sort of flirting with the ball girls and stuff like that. And each of these guys have won titles while all of them have been playing, and they've traded places, some on this court, some on a different type of surface, etc. But if you were to look at any of them and say, in order for me to be a world champion, I must be, okay, well, which one? Because all of them were world champions.
Yes.
And this is, I think, you're right. The message may largely have swung too far back toward the you cannot deal with any difficulty. You must prioritize your internal state over external responsibilities, mindful Mondays and time off Tuesdays and, cookie Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find who's this message for particularly. And I think really trying to get people that are listening to feed it through the filter of, is this for me? Is this for someone else?
Right.
And that point around,
Yo, the point he just made gave me goosebumps. I just need to pause for a second because he is cooking. And man, I think the question, I think the title of this video is going to be, does therapy for mental health weaken men? Because that's the question. You guys let me know in the comments. And I think the answer, there's not one answer. That's what I'm hearing from, because even Dwayne is saying, this is my approach. This is going to make you stronger. This is what I believe is helpful. However, if your internal state is making you debilitating to the outside world, then maybe you should get help. And sometimes people need extra help. And you know what's funny is I'm sure he works with horses, and there's certain horses that need extra because they got extra attitude or extra whatever the case may be. And he might even understand that as a horse trainer. I believe that's what he does. So I don't know. This is one of the greatest conversations. This is just a clip. This is a 2-hour podcast. You guys need to go to the channel, watch it in its entirety. If you enjoyed even just this clip, this is amazing stuff, amazing work. And the scenery in the background, I don't know, something about that barn makes me feel at peace. Like, man, I need to get away a little bit. This YouTube thing is kind of for the birds, to be honest. It's been generating a good living for me and my family, but it also is like, I like to be outside, man. I love it. I love the ambiance of this set.
Not deal with any difficulty. You must prioritize your internal state over external responsibilities, mindful Mondays and time off Tuesdays and, cookie
Right.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find who's this message for particularly. And I think really trying to get people that are listening to feed it through the filter of, is this for me? Is this for someone else?
Right.
And that point around just go harder, bro, can cause you to have a heart attack laid in bed next to your wife.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, that's something that I probably do need to heed.
Right.
And on the other side, like, am I a useless blob of emotional nothingness?
Right.
Okay, well, maybe I need a bit more David Goggins in my life.
Right.
And
Right.
I think finding that balance and not having a one-size-fits-all answer.
So how does a man, an individual, pick any individual, how does he find that balance that fits him?
With difficulty. I think for me, it's come with age. It's come with learning myself. It's come with experience of understanding what happened the last time that this situation occurred and how I felt,
Right.
and trying to.
So what would you encourage or advise a young man, 19, 23, who doesn't have the benefit of the age and the experience? And what would you advise him and say, look, this is kind of an area that might help you find your balance?
That's what they need. They need a voice of reason. They need mentorship. They need strong men. They need good examples. They need leadership, right? That's what I realized. I go through these processes in my brain thinking about where men have come from, right? You guys know what the R word is. It rhymes with grape. And pillaging villages, right? There was all these upstanding men who were like fighting against the villains and trying to build structure in society and do these things because the instinct in our primitive nature seems to just take, go for pleasure, do da 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 da. And with that, we've had this, dynamic where men and women are at each other's heads because of the, what is it called, sexual dynamics. And I think men, when we've taken extreme accountability and lead by example, I believe that's when we rise to the occasion and become what the world needs. And I think to do that, men just need more leadership, more mentorship, more good men actually showing the ropes instead of all these soft Hollywood, like our generation. I grew up idolizing rappers, and then I went down this degenerative path and not trying to blame these rappers specifically, but that's what I idolized. Oh, getting bitches, doing this, doing that. It's really interesting, and the people we look up to is important, and having those type of characters in society, I think, is important. But I wanted to say that, to not let whatever the answer is from them not steer it from what the answer, or I believe, at going into this.
I think checking in with yourself and not treating your first response as always the correct one. I think the immediate sort of reflex that we often have, especially as young men, young and men, is an issue because that you haven't accumulated enough experience for you to be able to call it gut instinct wisdom.
Right.
What it is probably your default response, which is from childhood, from the group that you grew up in. Maybe it's dad's pattern, maybe it's mum's pattern, maybe it's the teacher and the way that you had to protect yourself in school. It's unlikely that that is the best way for you to deal with things. So I think don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
Can
we boil it down to a bouillabaisse and say, look, when you have the thought, don't trust the thought, I need to do this or I need to do that. What if we start asking ourselves why? Why do I need to run 300 miles with 2 broken legs? Because David Goggins said so? Why do I need to do that? What is the purpose? Not why for me, but why do I need to do that to make myself the man I need to be for those around me? Why do I need to say, you know what? I need to spend more time in the backyard with a cigar. Why do I need to do that? And if the answer is because I'm becoming overwhelmed, overtight, losing my balance, losing my focus on what really matters in life, I'm becoming hard to live with to those that I care the most about, to those who I am the most responsible for. So the why is, this will make me a better person for those around me. Me being able to bench press 200 pounds as opposed to 180 pounds does not necessarily make me a better person for those that I'm here to serve. It feeds my ego. So maybe a little more time in the gym doesn't answer the why, and a little more time in the backyard with my kids, that gives me a better answer to the why do I need to make this choice as opposed to that choice. And maybe that's a little more accessible to a young man without a lot of experience.
I'm really interested in this blend that you have of...
All right, you guys. This goes into the next clip of having a better relationship. And I'm going to stop it there because I think there was a lot of good ideas shared there, a lot of wisdom there. And it seemed a lot more balanced. Like I thought maybe we'd go into some different murky water, or what society would call murky water. But I felt like that was very fair and balanced. And, we do need stronger men in society. That's just facts. Like if you look at the Western world, it is falling apart. And I believe it's because of the family structure and weak men. I could be incorrect. I'd love to hear your ideas on this. But, yeah, that was really good. With what he was saying at the end, there's so much depth there. I don't know if I need to add on to it from some of the things I said earlier. Experience is the best teacher. One of the most cliche sayings in the world, but it really is. That's why I struggle when I get on YouTube and I see all these like 17-year-old, 20-year-old mentors like, yo, this is what you have to do to da-da-da-da. And there's certain experiences that young folks have gone through, like, and fighting off certain addictions that is very helpful. But it is interesting because you need some time to gain that experience and wisdom. And I'm still at the age I'm at, still trying to gain some of those things, even though I feel like the experiences have given me some wisdom, some common sense that sometimes you lack when you're younger. So anyways, I really appreciated this conversation. You guys know what it is. Check this out on Chris Williamson's channel, Life Lessons from a Cowboy, Dry Creek Dewayne. Man, I think Dry Creek Dewayne. Try to say that 30 times fast. Dry Creek Wrangling School is his channel. And yeah, just let me know your guys' thoughts, man. Appreciate you tapping in with your boy. This is kind of a trending topic. Mental health is definitely a trending topic these days. And it's definitely something a lot of people struggle with. And yeah, there you have it.
City boy! city boy.